Damian Lillard is back in Portland. It's all warm and fuzzies now, but what happens when he starts taking minutes away? Is Lakers exceptionalism dead? And did Bradley Beal kill it? Should LeBron just set up his farewell tour now or risk a cold end to his career? All of that and more, and our favorite things of the week, today on Locked On NBA.
You are Locked On NBA, your daily NBA podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On NBA. Happy Friday. Thanks for making us your first listen of the day. We are free. We are available wherever you get your podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app today, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. I'm Doug Branson, host of Locked On Hornets and your Shot Clock Sherpa, guiding you through the NBA's biggest stories with the help of Locked On's local experts. And I have two of the best with me, as always, from the Locked On Heat podcast, sitting in for Matt Moore this week. Once again, it's Wes Goldberg. Wes, the whole world is talking about the CEO caught on a Jumbotron at a Coldplay concert. What's the most embarrassing moment you've witnessed at an NBA game or watching an NBA game? Could be Jumbotron, but if you don't have one of those, I'll settle for just an NBA moment that rises to that level.
It is Jumbotron related, and it is literally any time the kiss cam is on. The kiss cam is the worst thing ever invented in sports. This weird voyeuristic thing where an entire stadium of 16,000 people just watch two strangers kiss. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing for stadiums. It's embarrassing for Jumbotrons. It's embarrassing for sports. It's embarrassing for the NBA. Ban the kiss cam.
And sometimes it's strangers. Sometimes it appears to be like family members. It always gets weird with the kiss cam. I'm kind of with you here, Wes. Haize, how about you? From the Locked On Bulls podcast, we've got Haize. What do you think? Same question. Most embarrassing NBA moment or Jumbotron moment?
So, I always like to go back to my Bulls experiences. So after having an amazing summer league, first preseason game, I get to go watch Denzel Valentine in person. And in the layup line, he goes to dunk. Wide open dunk. Misses it. Almost airballs a dunk.
Oh, no.
Terrible.
How do you airball a dunk? That's impressive, honestly. I think that's impressive.
Did he airball it forwards or backwards? Did he slip like Mark Sanchez throwing a football, or did he what was it? Where did the ball go?
On the takeoff. He underestimated the takeoff. I'm like, you've dunked your whole life. Like, how do you airball a dunk?
Nah, see, I think you should get 4 points for that. It should be like, what is it in Hearts when you shoot the moon? When you fail so completely
right.
that you actually score points. I think that's what that should be like. Let us know your favorite embarrassing NBA moment. Could be at a game, could be on Jumbotron on YouTube, youtube.com/@LockedOnNBA. I would love to read those. But we move to the biggest story in the NBA yesterday. It was Damian Lillard, who had multiple teams and multiple options after he was waived and stretched by the Milwaukee Bucks. He could rehab on his own. He could sign with a contender. Instead, he decided to go back to the place where it all began. Here's Locked On Blazers host Mike Richmond on Dame Time, going back to the future.
Damian Lamont Ollie Lillard is back. He's back. He's back. The greatest trailblazer of the 21st century, a franchise icon, one of the greatest players to ever wear a Trailblazers jersey, has decided to return home. He'll be back in a place where he gets to be that guy, assuming that he is capable of being that guy. And there's no reason to think that the Blazers won't give him every opportunity to be that guy. The idea that he'll come back at age 36 and be Scoot Henderson's backup is wild. Don't kid yourself. Do not kid yourself. You do not make this commitment. You don't not financially, not for the years, not with the player option, unless you are saying, Dame, we are so happy to have you. Yeah, this does cloud the future of Sterling Scoot Henderson to some extent. Maybe a full extent, adding Jrue Holiday and Damian Lillard in one offseason, two 35-year-old guards, right? Yeah. Certainly that seems to suggest a certain type of way the franchise feels about Scoot.
Okay, that was good. That was good analysis there from Michael Cornelius Richmond. I'm not sure if that's his middle name or not, but he loved the name play there. Wes, this is a big story. It's a surprising ending to this story, or beginning of this story, I guess. Your reaction when you heard the news?
Good for Dame, number one, right? Back in Las Vegas, there was some talk about maybe Portland actually being the quiet leader in the clubhouse to re-sign or to sign Damian Lillard, and that's exactly what happened. Damian Lillard obviously cares very much about the Portland Trail Blazers organization. His family is back in Portland. I think that was a huge priority for him in this decision. And he just goes back to a place where he's beloved and now can retire, right? He's got a no trade clause as part of this 3-year deal. So if all goes to plan, he's going to retire a member of the Portland Trail Blazers. And for Portland, I think it makes a lot of sense for them. I really do. Like Richmond pointed out there, they already added Jrue Holiday. They added Damian Lillard. They have not yet traded Jeremy Grant. This is a team that has some vets, some interesting young players. They're trying to compete, and maybe they're not going to make the playoffs this year, but I think they can make the playoffs next year. If you think about it, Jrue Holiday is the exact kind of guard that Damian Lillard has never played with, in terms of a defensive-oriented guard who can cover up for his deficiencies on that end. So now he's got like the perfect backcourt partner that he's never had. You add Donovan Clingan, who's already an impact defender and only going to get better. A ton of young talent on this roster, whether it's Denny Avdia or Scoot Henderson or whatever. And you look ahead during, like, this is a 3-year deal for Damian Lillard. I think he's still going to be a very effective basketball player, and Golden State's going to get older. The Lakers might be without LeBron James next season. The Clippers are kind of aging out of whatever this cycle is. There are going to be opportunities, I think, for Portland to at least compete for a playoff spot, and that's obviously what they want to be doing right now. So I think it makes sense for both sides.
Yeah, I like this move. I like the fact that he did prioritize his family, and I can respect that so much. But he's also going to a situation in which there is a clear spot and a clear role for him, and I think this just makes sense all the way around. Like, it felt like Dame's heart was still in Portland, like, throughout all of that. So for him to go back there, have a no trade clause, have at least 2 years there with the player option in the 3rd year, I think this makes a lot of sense for the place that Dame is and the franchise is in. He gets a rehab in a situation that he's familiar with, be around his family. And I'm with Wes. I think that this team can compete for a playoff spot next season. The season 26-27, once Dame's fully healthy. I think that you have another year of growth and evaluation. And then you can look at what you need to add for this team to go on that playoff run. They've already been talking about wanting to be a team that can contend for the playoffs. I think they're going to have a little bit of trouble this upcoming year, but after that, they're right there in the mix of it.
All right, for the sake of argument, I'm going to cut against what I think is the overwhelming grain, because there are warm and fuzzies, and I am very happy for Damian Lillard that he gets to go back and be closer to his family and play for that franchise. But I do also think that it has the potential to be very awkward when he comes back, because this Trailblazers team, they weren't preparing to like compete for a playoff spot in 2 or 3 seasons. It seemed like every move they made was to compete even as soon as next season. And maybe you think that's unrealistic with how the West shakes out right now. But what if they do? What if they do compete? What if they do get into the playoffs and they look a little bit more serious than they have in recent years? And now you have Damian Lillard, and what Damian Lillard are you going to get? And he's going to take away minutes from Scoot Henderson, from maybe other players. Wes, I think this has the potential to get awkward.
It could, but then again, Damian Lillard is 35 years old. He's getting older. Maybe there is a world where he starts coming off the bench, right? We saw this. It reminded me instantly of when Dwayne Wade came back to Miami. And by the end of his Miami tenure, he was a 6th man coming off the bench playing 20 minutes a night. And you got all the warm and fuzzies there. So maybe that's what happens with Damian Lillard. I think this is, by the way, great for Scoot Henderson's development. I remember when Scoot was a rookie, he's talked about looking forward to being able to learn from Damian Lillard. Then obviously that did not happen because Lillard got traded. And I think Scoot really he's needed some real mentorship for a while. That was probably the thing missing in the first couple of years of his career. Now he has it not only with Damian Lillard, who's going to obviously be around the organization even while he rehabs, but with Jrue Holiday as well.
Haize, do you shell out $40+ million for a bench player?
Yeah, when he's meant as much to your franchise history as what he has, yeah, I think you do there.
Well, that's what makes this weird and rare, is that it does feel like feelings are a part of this in a way that I'm just not used to with my sports over the past, 5-6 years. These things just don't happen like this. And reportedly there was a meeting between everyone to make sure that everyone was cool. I'm surprised by this because it seemed like the Blazers sort of sent him to beer cheese land to die. And the idea that he would even want to return to the franchise is surprising to me.
And give him a no trade clause, right? Like that is the feelings part of this, is that he's now the 2nd player in the league outside of LeBron James to have a no trade clause. And like he's still averaged 25 points per game last year. I know he's coming back from the Achilles, he's getting older, but with his shot, the way his game is probably going to age, he might not be what he was. He's still going to be an impactful player. And at $14 million a year, that's okay, even if he does end up coming off the bench for you. But the no trade clause, that's the feelings part that you rarely see in sports.
Okay, let us know what you think on YouTube, youtube.com/@LockedOnNBA. A lot more to get to on this edition of Locked On NBA. Later on in the show, I want to talk about the Summer League playoffs. Yes, there are playoffs in the Summer League, and there are 4 teams in it. And I want to know which one of those young cores have impressed Wes and Haize the most. But before we do that, we have to talk about the other franchise where it seems like a lot of feelings are happening right now. That, of course, is the Los Angeles Lakers, including the feelings about losing out on Bradley Beal and a possible LeBron James retirement. That's all ahead on Locked On NBA. Today's episode of Locked On NBA is brought to you by Game Time. We've all been there. Waiting forever for concert tickets to go on sale, like tickets to Coldplay, only to miss out on the show you've been dying to see. Buying tickets shouldn't be as stressful as getting caught on a Jumbotron at that Coldplay concert. That's where Game Time comes in. Game Time makes getting concert tickets fast, easy, affordable. Prices usually drop the closer it gets to showtime, and you can save up to 60% with their last-minute deals. That's incredible. Plus, their zone deals pick the best seats in your section for you, so there's no more endless scrolling. You'll even get a panoramic seat view before you buy, so you know exactly what you're getting. That is my favorite thing to do, just like click around on all the seats and see what the view is. And the best part is the price you see is the price you pay. No hidden fees. Take the guesswork out of buying concert and show tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app today, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. More Locked On NBA ahead. Thanks for making Locked On NBA your first listen every day. We are one of the most listened to podcasts on the Locked On Podcast Network, and we're on a mission to become the most watched show on the network. If you've been listening for a long time, first of all, thank you. Please support the show by going to YouTube and subscribing there. Even if you don't plan to watch, it does help the show. Let's jump from one wave and stretch king to another, Bradley Beal. He chose the Clippers, but we know that the team down the street was also pursuing him. What does it mean that the Lakers weren't able to convince him to play in purple and gold? Let's hear from Locked On Lakers.
I've seen a few people online like framing this decision from Bradley Beal. It's like Bradley Beal chooses the Clippers over the Lakers. Lakers' mystique is dead.
Well, to begin, he had a better reason to go to the Clippers in the sense that he had a starting role lined up, tailor-made for him, because after the Clippers traded Norm Powell as part of that 3-way deal to Miami, bringing them John Collins, they have a starting two-guard spot available and a need to put Bradley Beal in there.
I think the Clippers have a better roster than the Lakers. I think the Clippers just have more injury questions than the Lakers do. They have that every year.
I think the big thing was he was able to start definitively for the Clippers, and the Lakers, at the very least, were not in a position to automatically offer him that. If you had concerns about a Luka, LeBron, Austin, Rui, Ayton lineup defensively, wait until you see Luka, LeBron, Austin, Beal.
Okay, Haize, what do you think? Do you think the Los Angeles Lakers lost Beal to the Clippers? Was this a mystique thing or more of a strategy fit thing that they shouldn't feel too bad about?
Yeah, they shouldn't feel too bad about it. I mean, I think the Bradley Beal going to the Clippers after they lost, traded away Norman Powell, it just made sense. There was a spot for him, a void for him to walk in and fill that right away. Whereas if he would have went to the Lakers, he would have tried to had to fit in with something that isn't maybe as seamless of a fit. So if I'm Lakers fans, I'm not thinking about it too much. I think Bradley Beal going to the Clippers, it just made sense for both sides.
Yeah, no doubt about it, right? The Clippers made room for Bradley Beal because, in part, look at this contract. It lines up with Kawhi's contract. It lines up with James Harden's contract. They have a very clear they made a clear decision that, hey, in 2027, we're going to have all these veterans come off the books, and then we're going to pivot at that point. Meanwhile, to LeBron James's point, the Lakers are doing the opposite of that. They're trying to align everything to Luka Doncic's timeline. So had they actually traded Austin Reeves in a Norm Powell type of trade to maybe go get a center or go get some added depth somewhere else, then they would have had a starting spot to offer Bradley Beal. I'm not saying that they should have done that, but clearly this is the direction that the Lakers chose. So Bradley Beal just made a lot of sense for the Clippers. Didn't really ever make much sense for the Lakers.
I think they should. I think the Lakers should feel bad, not because they lost in this particular instance, but because their team was not ready from a roster building perspective, from a salary cap perspective, and from a team strategy defense perspective, not to have this kind of opportunity, be able to take advantage of it. The Clippers were, as we detailed in the last episode, like their defense can handle adding somebody like Beal. The Lakers couldn't, and that's what they should be, I think, upset about. But is this a blessing in disguise for the Lakers, just missing out on? Because there was reporting that they were definitely pursuing an opportunity to add Beal to the lineup. Did they dodge their own bullet here, Wes, by the Clippers coming in and snagging Beal?
I think so, maybe, because, there were going to be defensive concerns there with Beal. But to your point, there's bigger roster concerns. Beal was not what they needed. They needed the opposite of Bradley Beal. They need a guy who can defend and improve their point of attack defense specifically. And so you've already heard reports of them being linked to somebody like Marcus Smart, for instance, who, like Beal, a little bit past their prime, but probably could still provide something on the court a little bit if provided a new situation, a winning situation, a team that could potentially make the playoffs here. That's what the Lakers should be looking for. I don't think they're done this offseason. I think they will try to add somebody like that, and that has way more utility for what they need on that roster than what Beal could have provided them.
Haize.
Yeah, they need a guy who can defend, can shoot the three. They need Dorian Finney-Smith. Oh man, dang, that sucks. But they need somebody like that on their roster. I don't think Bradley Beal really brings anything of what, like, it would have been a luxury to have it, and it would have, like, from Bradley Beal to go from one team that didn't fit together to another one wouldn't have made any sense. They need some defenders down there in LA.
All right, Bradley Beal, not the only story swirling around Lakerland. Let's go back out to Locked On Lakers for the latest surrounding LeBron's future in LA.
ESPN's Dave McMenamin had this to say about LeBron and how long he might play. Quote, I think we have to start thinking that this could be his last year in the league. Rich Paul, that's LeBron's agent, told me there was no extension talk because they didn't ask for an extension.
I don't think the Lakers were going to offer him one, and I think that LeBron and Rich Paul were aware that the offer wasn't coming, and I think for a variety of reasons, when you're someone of LeBron's stature, you don't want it to be reported that you asked for something like a continuation of a contract and you were told no. I don't think this season is going to turn ugly. I don't think it's going to turn dramatic. But it feels like there's going to be a coldness to the way that this thing may end, unless it ends up LeBron's farewell tour, in which case the Lakers will do an outstanding job with that because they are really good at that sort of stuff.
So LeBron James can play for as long as he wants. Obviously, he's earned that right. But Wes, if he wants the storybook ending and not the cold ending, as Andy Kamenetsky was suggesting there, would he be better off saying now, hey, I'm just going to say it, this is my last year as a Laker, or it's my last year as a player, to try to get some of that Kobe love that he felt at the end of his Laker tenure?
Yeah, I think if this were the Cleveland Cavaliers, maybe that would make some sense. I don't know that LeBron James wants the farewell tour. I don't know that he ever wanted it to happen with the Lakers. Who knows? Was he going to be one of these guys that signed with the Cavaliers for a day or something towards the end of his career? Who knows? But he does not mean to the Lakers what Kobe meant to the Lakers, right? It's different for that fan base. So if LeBron just wanted the greatest party ever, then yeah, maybe it would have, to the Kamenetsky's point there, like the Lakers do the farewell tours and all that kind of stuff better than any organization in the league and maybe in sports. But I don't know that LeBron cares a whole lot about that. And I don't know that there's the emotional tie there for him. I think he would just rather keep playing.
Yeah, I agree with Wes there. I think just keep playing, keep chugging along at it is what LeBron's going to do. And when it comes time for LeBron to have a farewell tour, a permanent one, I do think he's going to want one. But I don't think LeBron, I know we hear a lot about the retirement and stuff like that. I don't think LeBron is going to stop anytime soon. Bryce is coming into the league in 2 years? I don't think we're going to be talking about LeBron retiring until then.
All right, one more Laker thing, I promise. It's just there's a lot of news around them right now. Luka Doncic eligible to sign up to a 4-year, $229 million extension on August 2nd. Brian Windhorst on NBA Today a few days ago said the Lakers are a little stressed out over whether or not he will sign off on it. Should they be? And Haize, if you're Luka Doncic or you're advising Luka Doncic, would you say, hey, lock up this full 4 years, 229, do the thing, or keep it somewhat flexible and get some kind of 2-year deal so you can keep the pressure on?
Yeah, I'd say 2+1 is probably the place I would want to be at. The Lakers, it's not like their roster's in a place to where you look at it and you're like, we're going to be a surefire championship contender in the next year or two. So I think if Luka does sign that extension, I'd do a 2+1 with the player options, so that way I can make that decision and keep that pressure on the front office. We've seen it before. Front offices, they tend to take it seriously when they know that they have to convince their player to stay every 2 or 3 years. So I think Luka can learn that part from LeBron in his dealings with the Lakers here.
Yeah, I agree. Take the 3-year deal. And I say 3 years very specifically, whether it's a 3-year extension or a 2+1 extension, whatever it is, because if you're with the Lakers for 4 years and then you become an unrestricted free agent and don't extend off of that, you qualify then for a no trade clause. And at that point, that to me has a lot of value for Luka Doncic, who literally never thought he was going to get traded from Dallas. And the next thing you know, he's traded from the Mavericks. That can linger, right? Like that can definitely linger with a player. So I think Luka would probably be pretty motivated to go ahead and get that no trade clause. And then when he turns 30, you get escalations and what a max salary is because of years of service and things like that. That's what I would be looking for if I'm Luka. Hey, I'm going to go 3 more years with the Lakers on an extension. I'm going to opt out or become an unrestricted free agent when I'm 30 years old. I'm going to lock in a bunch more money as those things escalate, and I'm getting myself a no trade clause because I don't want this thing happening again.
I love the idea that we're coming out of this Bradley Beal situation, and the lesson that we're going to learn is that we should give out more no trade clauses. Like, it would just go to my idea that we just don't learn anything. Front offices do not learn anything really in the long term. All right, coming up on Locked On NBA, we turn our attention to Summer League, which is almost over, and we've got 4 teams in the Vegas playoffs. I want to know from Wes and Haize which one of the 4 teams has impressed them the most in terms of their young core, the future of these franchises. We'll find out that, plus our favorite things of the week. Stay with us. Locked On NBA. Today's episode of Locked On NBA is brought to you by OpenPhone. If you're running a business, every missed call could be a missed opportunity. Think about it. Last time you had a service emergency, did you wait for someone to call you back? Probably not. That's why you need OpenPhone. It's the #1 business phone system that streamlines your customer communication and helps you scale, all from an app on your phone or computer. I love that I don't need to carry 2 phones, a business phone and a personal phone. With OpenPhone, I can just manage business calls and text from one app on one phone, whether I'm at my desk or on the go. My favorite feature is the shared inbox. It allows your whole team to jump into any conversation without missing a beat. Plus, they have AI call transcripts and summaries that are absolute game changers for staying on top of those crucial follow-ups and customer interactions. And right now, OpenPhone is offering our listeners 20% off your first 6 months. Just go to openphone.com/LockedOnNBA. That's OpenPhone.com/LockedOnNBA. And if you're switching from another provider, they will even port your number for free. So nice. OpenPhone. No missed calls, no missed customers. More Locked On NBA ahead. Thanks again for making Locked On NBA your first listen every day. The Summer League playoffs are set in Las Vegas. It's going to be the Oklahoma City Thunder, Charlotte Hornets, Minnesota Timberwolves, and Sacramento Kings moving on. Which of these young cores has stood out to you the most as it relates to the players that could actually be part of the team's future in the next few seasons? Haize, we'll start with you.
Great question there. I like a lot the Hawks core. I like Ace and Newell and how he's looked there. I think the Hawks have a nice group of young players there that are going to help them win over the next few years. I'm going to lock that in. I'll say the Hawks.
Okay, so none of the 4 playoff teams. What do you think, Wes? Is it one of these playoff teams, or has another one that didn't make the cut impressed you more?
I'm going to go with one of the playoff teams, but before I do that, if the Thunder win the Summer League championship, does this count as a continuation, a part of the dynasty here? That would be very unfair.
I think
counts.
So.
It counts, right? It doesn't. It's not at the top of the list, but I think it's going to be included on the resume. I'm going to go with Minnesota here because of the 4 teams here. Yeah, the Thunder are obviously going to be the favorites in the West. As much as Nikola Topic and some of these guys have impressed, I don't know how much of an impact they're really going to make, or certainly how much of a difference they're going to make for a team that literally just won the championship without those guys. But no disrespect to Charlotte, no disrespect to Sacramento. They're probably not factoring in to the games that really matter at the very end of the postseason. Minnesota has a legit chance to make another run. They've been in the Western Conference Finals 2 years in a row. And you look at what their young guys have done. Terrence Shannon, Jalen Clark, Rob Dillingham, it's been a little bit more up and down for him in Las Vegas. But Terrence Shannon in particular is averaging 23 points on 48% shooting, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists. He has looked like one of the best players and most dominant players in Las Vegas. And there are going to be minutes for him this season with Nickeil Alexander-Walker leaving to Atlanta. There's a lot of minutes just sort of there to pick up. And Terrence Shannon could make a huge impact for a Minnesota team that not only needs that role backfilled, but also needs some on-ball juice, some on-ball scoring, stuff that's outside of Anthony Edwards and the sort of the trick-or-treat nature of Julius Randle. I think of all the teams that are left here, Minnesota is playing with some of the guys that can actually make a legitimate impact to their season.
Terrence Shannon Jr. too is like stepping into that role, role left by Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and like you said, they need another scorer. And him being an older rookie too. Well, he's now going to his second year. He should be more ready and more prepared.
Oh, and by the way, they have Johan Berenger, who looks like a Rudy Gobert replacement, like ready to go.
7 blocks.
Me, it's crazy. That's the thing that's significant to me about both Minnesota and OKC being there. I mean, people like to joke about the significance of Summer League and they like to poo-poo it a little bit, but honestly, if this CBA continues on and there's no adjustments to it, teams like OKC and Minnesota, when they want to continue to get back, despite paying so much to all of their best players, they're going to have to lean on some of these players that we're seeing in Summer League right now to fill gaps. And the fact that OKC can look at Topic and Mitchell, and then Minnesota can do the same is really significant for those two teams. All right, final thought, Wes.
Shout out to Nick Clifford for Sacramento. Kings fans never get anything nice. They never get anything good. This looks like this could be the steal of the draft. He's been great.
Yeah, Neek looks great, and I will shout out the Charlotte Hornets. I think their young core has looked great, particularly Con Knippel, the 4th overall pick. I think a lot of people see him as a high-level role player. That's like max ceiling for him, particularly because he's drafted with guys like Cooper Flagg, who was on his team at Duke, and Dylan Harper. That was the sort of consensus 1-2, and then fall back to 4, Con Knippel. But he was flashing some, I'll just say it, he was flashing some very like Larry Bird-esque passes in the Summer League. I'm just saying. Tune into Locked On Hornets if you're interested. Unshameless plug. Okay, final thing here. This is what we do to wrap up the week. Every week, it is our favorite things of the week. Wes, thank you so much for filling in for Matt all week. You are our guest, so you lead us off. Your favorite thing of the week.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. It was a blast talking hoops with you guys. My favorite thing from the week, Colin Murray-Boyles has been also very good in Vegas Summer League. He was asked if he saw the new Summer League ring by a reporter during the broadcast. That's a tough job, being the reporter for the Summer League broadcast. There's not a whole lot to talk about with these guys, but asked if Colin Murray-Boyles had seen the championship ring, and he goes, quote, I wrote it down because it's so crazy. Quote, man, I'm worried about winning games before I see a damn championship ring, end quote. Come on. Like, we're just trying to have fun here. We're talking about Summer League. These guys are so conditioned to never say anything of value or have any kind of fun with the media or ask a simple question. He's talking about winning games in Summer League. Like, I get that you want to come off as the ultimate winner. Dude, you already got the job. Stop interviewing. Just have a nice time. It's fine.
No, you know what I blame for this? NBA 2K, because you have to make choices, on all of these interviews, and you get plus 250 for being a team player. I think that's what's conditioning these, but they've got I got to hit A so that I can get my, boost my stat here. I blame NBA 2K, Haize.
2K's rotten brains everywhere, right?
What's your favorite thing of the week?
Listen, this is going to sound weird coming from a Bulls fan. Noah Essengay getting dunked on and that picture going viral. Like that was, first of all, the Bulls don't get talked about a lot. Noah Essengay actually played great in that game, and he actually scored 21 points and had a double-double in that game. But just the fact that's his welcome to the NBA moment in Summer League, nobody's going to forget it.
It was a very funny picture, Wes.
Yeah, man, that's why you got to take care of business before you start thinking about rings or anything like that. I love that he's actually trying. Like that's good. Try to get the block. That's your whole thing.
Yeah, you can't control facial expressions. That's just going to happen in the moment.
Right.
There's nothing you can do about it, but you can control, your effort on the floor. There's my plus 250 answer right there from the coach. My favorite thing of the week came also from Summer League, an interview with Buddy Hield, Warriors guard in Vegas, and they asked him about his offseason travels to Rome, and what was his favorite part, and he said, or what did he do in preparation for it? He said, Gladiator. I watched Gladiator, and I thought Maximus was a real warrior. I'm going into the Coliseum yelling, Maximus! And my tour guide was like, he's not real.
And if he were real, he'd be dead. So I don't know why he's calling out for him in the Coliseum. Could somebody get these people the History Channel? These kids don't have anything these days. It's just like to prepare for Rome, get Duolingo, learn Italian. I don't know. Like you're just watching a movie. That's it. That's your preparation.
Gladiator. It's a documentary. Come on.
Did you watch the second one at least? I don't even know.
No. All right. If you like what you heard today, subscribe to Locked On NBA wherever you get podcasts, including YouTube. Thanks to Wes for sitting in all week. For Matt, we really appreciate your expertise. Haize, for your expertise as well. Thank you for making Locked On NBA your first listen. Make your second listen Locked On NBA Game Night. You can see Wes there. It's every Summer League game every night as long as it lasts, and it's on this feed on YouTube or wherever you get podcasts. Enjoy tonight's Summer League action. Be kind to each other. We'll see you right back here next week on Locked On NBA.